Have you ever considered that you might need help finding love, like using a matchmaker? Well, I have a guest today, and I'm going to talk all about matchmaking, her process. She is an upper echelon matchmaker, and she has a story to tell, so you don't want to miss this. To the Secret Formula of Femininity for women who want to live a more feminine, fun, and fabulous life. I'm Dr. Nicole Montero, your host on this weekly journey to unlocking your inner radiance, nurturing fulfilling relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself. Okay, welcome everybody to the Secret Formula of Femininity. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Montero. I have an amazing guest, Shay Primus, and I have to read her bio, but first, I asked her to come on and tell us one thing that people misunderstand about matchmakers. And I just want her to tell you that, and then I'm going to tell you all about her. Welcome, Shay. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing well. What is something that people misunderstand? So we're going to have you tell us about what you do, but when people hear the word matchmaker, what do you think they misunderstand?
I think people think a matchmaker is a magician, that I can just magic you your dream man or your dream woman. And it is not that simple. There's a lot that goes into matchmaking. Sometimes what you think you want or what you're attracted to isn't attracted to you. So there's so much that goes into matchmaking outside of just having a desire and thinking you're going to get it.
Ooh, oh my gosh. Yes, we are going to get into that. But first, I really want to read your bio because it is magnificent. And I think it's going to give people a sense of exactly what you do. So, Shay is the owner of Upper Echelon Matchmaking, which is a boutique matchmaking and dating coaching business for Black single professionals nationwide. Since 2013, she's run this business. Shay has successfully matched over 500 couples. Oh my gosh. And is currently a cast member of Bravo's Love Match Atlanta. So you need to check that out. Although Shay started with middle class matchmaker, she had to establish the luxury arm of her business. Upper echelon after being offered $1 million to match. Oh, child, listen to this. Let me say it again. After being offered $1 million to match entertainer and entrepreneur Rick Ross. We're going to get into that. Shay has an undergraduate degree in communications from Clark Atlanta University, a graduate degree in human resources and organizational development from the University of Georgia, and has completed all of her coursework for her PhD in training and performance improvement. In an effort to offer premium services to her matchmaking clients, Shay has earned a matchmaker certification, from Matchmaking Institute and a dating coaching certification from the Relationship Coach Institute. She is a Georgia peach, and resides in Atlanta with her two children. Welcome, Shay. When I read the bios, I'm like into it as if I'm hearing it for this first time because it's just so amazing. And so there's a lot for us to dig into. But with your background, which is, you have a long history in corporate, tell us what made you go into matchmaking.
Well, I've always just had a big network, like from school. Like I was always the person like, Shay, do you know? Do you know? I knew everybody because I was always involved in campus in different organizations. And I think I just carried that all throughout my life. So I've always been the person who knew people, the connector, if you will. So whenever I would have an event, and I also love to entertain and have parties. So whenever I would have a
Mm-hmm.
party, people would be trying to hook up. Shay, hook me up with that girl, hook me up with that guy. And I was just like, how do I monetize this? I'm always connecting people. How do I monetize this? So that's what led me to go back and get certified in matchmaking and coaching, relationship coaching, and I'm a dating coach and matchmaker today.
Oh, that's wonderful. So is that what you do full time?
I do both, actually. I'm
Okay.
an HR
Okay.
consultant and I'm a matchmaker. I do both. So I have two
Okay.
businesses and I run concurrently.
Yes, yes. So, okay, my number one question is, so people were ready to, because they knew you were the connector. It sounds like you were just that extrovert that everybody, knew was in the know. When you started to monetize it, what happened? Were people willing to pay for the thing that they were used to getting for free from you?
Yes. Now, I think it's different. So my friends or people who know me are more likely to come to my events because I also have upper echelon events, which is where I have my I host singles events. Like I just had a holiday
Okay.
party, a Halloween party last Saturday. So like I
Oh.
have events for singles. My basement of my home is an event space. So I host parties throughout the year for singles. And so people who know me from school or work or church, they're more likely to come to my events, which are at a lower price point, right? Because it's an event versus signing up for my services as a matchmaker. That's usually where I get fans of the show or people who follow me or people who found out that from somebody else I matched. I get referrals for matchmaking from different places.
Okay, okay. So you really work off of the exposure that you've had and then referrals, and you said 500 couples. Tell us about
Yes.
that. Like, tell me, yeah, dig into that.
So, and honestly, I will say that a lot of people really like to find their love organically. That's why I
Okay.
still do my events. A lot of matchmakers don't do events, but people do like to walk up to somebody and, start a conversation or just kind of connect naturally. They like that. And so I feel like I still need to continue to do that. And honestly, a lot of my couples have met at my events. And then I also have couples that I have matched. Okay. Like, so like one of my favorite clients is an oral surgeon and she's
Mm.
traveled extensively all around the world. And she's like, look, I'm ready for my husband. Like, I just need him to be athletic because she was a college athlete. She likes going to different sporting events. She was like, I need him to be athletic, family oriented because I like to cook and have my family over. She told me what she really needed, but she was totally open. She's like, "Look, Shay, I make 5 million a year. I know he's not gonna make that, but
Okay.
I just need a good, solid man who loves me, and I don't have to dumb myself down for him." And I searched high and low. It literally took me over a year, but I found this guy who was an attorney, and they've been together over a year now. So I have these love stories. I think because I work hard for my clients. I get out,
Mhm.
I go to events, I network. I'm a big networker. I go
Okay.
to events, I meet people. Every time I meet somebody, if whether they're married or single, my question is, do you have any single friends? Introduce me to your friends. And that's the other thing I do well at events. They will come, they will bring their friends to these events, and then I meet their friends, and their friends have friends. And that's just how it works. It's just digging into each other, everyone's network. That's how I meet the people for my clients.
So you wow, so you have a database, like you are, whether it's formal or informal, of people, and I'm assuming you have some things that you've done this for so long. You have a list in your own head about, okay, who a certain person could match with or what their qualities are.
Yes, and it's really not it's what people tell me that they want. I take like the big things, like about faith, if you want children. If something's very important to you, like politics or something like that, I will stick to that. But people don't know what makes them compatible. They really
Mhm.
don't. And so you just think if you meet somebody who's cute that it's gonna work and it doesn't necessarily work, or if you meet somebody with money, it's gonna work and it doesn't necessarily work. It's about personality, it's about balance, it's about finding someone that you can fit with. You don't have to have the same, you have to be able to fit with each other. And you have to be able to accommodate each other. And that's a lot of things. There's a science to it. So I know those things. And I also know the things that might be important to you, like they need to live locally. Okay, that's a huge thing. You're not going to be interested in long distance. Okay, I'll take that into consideration. Or if you really want children, that's huge. You're not going to be able to change somebody's mind who wants or doesn't want children. So I take those kind of things into consideration. And then I'm also looking at personality, like who fits with this person or and that's why, honestly, me meeting people helps because when I talk to you, I go, I understand your personality. And then I'll go, you know what? That would fit well with Kim's personality.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
just works. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I could just be driving in my car and I'll hear, introduce Jim to Tanya. And I do, and
It'll
it just
just be
works.
a thought that,
Yeah.
like, you'll just get that feeling. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Like these two people will be compatible. You need to introduce them. And so I do follow spirit on that too, as well. So it is a joint, collaborative effort.
That is so amazing. So you're really an expert in observation and human relationships, like
Yeah.
understanding that what people might say. It's almost like you know what people need sometimes more than they do or before they do.
Of course. I mean, also, I've been in HR for 20 years, and in
Yes.
HR, we have to understand personalities. We have to understand people. We have to understand, like, for a team to work well, who needs to be on the team, what personalities work well together. So all those kinds of things. And I've been doing that for 20 years. So all of
Okay.
this serves to inform my skills. So one of the things I do with upper echelon, I used to like split the two things out. Like here's HR over here, here's matchmaking. And now I'm like, no, I'm both. I have to bring in my expertise from HR because it informs how I match. It also informs the structure that I use for my business. I'm very rigorous in my approach, but that comes from HR. So I just marry the two because that's who I am. I bring all of that to the table.
So how did you tell us about this whole Rick Ross thing? It wasn't the idea that he would be hard to match, and so, "Hey, let me offer this amount," like, yeah, I would love to hear about that.
No. So I went to he used to have these conferences called Boss Up Conference, and I
Mhm,
went to his second conference. I don't think he has them anymore. But at the Boss Up Conference, we all have to present. It's all entrepreneurs, and we all have to present our business idea to him and what we're into. And he didn't do this with anybody else. But he came over to me, and when I pitched my matchmaking business, he was like, "So you think you can match me?" He was like, "I will give you $1 million if you match me." Right. And of course, that's life changing. But I was like, oh, I can't match him under middle class matchmaker because that's what it was called at the time.
mhm.
He was like, no. He gave me a name, but I was like, no, I can't use that either. So I ended up changing the name to upper echelon matchmaking. So to accommodate people, no matter how much money they make, right? No matter where they
Mhm,
are, because upper echelon doesn't speak to a dollar amount. It's a
mhm,
mentality, right?
mhm.
So, we can all be upper echelon. So I changed my name to make it more inclusive. And honestly, it has helped me attract, higher earning individuals who may not have time to date or don't want to be on a dating site due to privacy, like various reasons.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's how I met Rick Ross and got that opportunity.
Oh, so did you find someone for him?
Well, I have lots of ladies who could be
Okay.
great fits for Rick, but Rick is very interested in women who are like half his age, who would be impressed with things that he might be able to do for them. And that's very different from what I do as a matchmaker. So I am being patient and allowing him
Mhm.
to get that out of his system until he's ready for something I would say more serious.
I love that focus of knowing kind of what a person wants right now and what they might want in the future. And, the patience to say, okay, you can meet all of those types of women on your own. When you're ready for the different type, come to me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is because as a matchmaker, I don't match. So I always tell people I don't match sugar babies with sugar daddies. I don't do that. But that's a lot of times, and this is not him, this is any man. A lot of men who are very wealthy, they are just and if they're pushing 50, they want to play. And I understand that. Go play. Go play and have all the fun you want. Now, when you are ready for your match, you want your wife, you want your rib, that's when you come to me because, and it's not about age, but it's about compatibility, right? And it's
Mhm.
about finding somebody who is ready to go on this journey with you. I do that. That's what I match. And that's what makes me feel good. So I do not match like sugar babies and sugar daddies. That's not my lane.
Okay, you hear that, everybody. I love that, right? It's really like the values that you have for your business and what you do.
Absolutely.
Um,
And we have to be clear on that because
mm.
somebody can offer you a whole lot of money to do something totally different, but you need to be clear on what it is that you want.
So you cater to Black professionals and,
Yes.
a Black earner. What are some of the challenges that you see? Because a lot of Black women now are high earners and they're successful in their careers or in entrepreneurships and in so many aspects of their life. But we have all seen social media where there's this idea that like I have everything, but I'm missing the man. what are
Mhm.
some of the things that like what have you learned about black women and black women professionals that you bring into your matchmaking? What are some of their challenges and what are some of the things that you tailor to them?
Well, one unique thing about me is I'm also one of them. So it's not like I'm on the outside looking in. I'm amongst the group, right? So I come to the table owning two businesses, right? And being very successful. So I am literally my clients. Just they and I think what they like is they see themselves in me. They know that I
Mm.
can relate to them. So one of the things I tell them is it is a balancing act, right? Because we're boss babes all day. We're boss babes running our businesses, but it's how do you shift that in a relationship? And one thing that is important to carve out with these men is where they are needed, because men have to feel needed, right? And so even if I don't need you to pay my bills, I don't need you to pay this mortgage, I don't need you to pay my car note, but I do need you for this. You have to carve out what you need them for. So, like in my relationship, I have a honey-do list, and whenever my boyfriend comes over, he's checking off the list, and it's fix this light, or this doesn't work, or change this. And he has a list of things that he does, and it makes him feel needed. He's contributing to my household. I might not need you to contribute financially, but I need you to contribute in these ways. So, how do you carve out where you need them? I need you to hang these pictures. I need you to. My car is making a noise. Can you see what it is? Like, what is it that they could do? It could be anything. It could be mowing the lawn. It could be, oh, I have all these events that I need to go to. I need a plus one. It could be, I have all these ideas. Can I brainstorm with you? It could be, you figure out where you need them because they need to be, they have a need to be needed. And honestly, we do need them. You can't do everything by yourself. There's
Mhm.
something that you need them to do. What is that? Because if you don't need a man, then what are we talking about? Why are we here? Why do you want a matchmaker if you don't feel that you need a man? So let's carve out where you need him and then find that person who could fill in that blank. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that absolutely does. I always talk on my platform about how being in an overly independent boss mode can repel the man that you want. And I'm curious about if do you have to work with your clients, your female clients when they come with you around language and like cuz you hear a lot like I don't need a man, I want a man, but like do you help even coach them before, if you have someone for them, but before you introduce them?
Yeah, so my process is very extensive. So before you even start meeting people, I have a sex therapist, I have a regular therapist just to make
Mm.
sure you don't have any trauma, understand what your trauma is,
Yes.
and address it because we all have trauma. We all bring things to the table. What is that? And let's address it. I have a sex therapist because sex is a main component of any relationship. And so many people don't like it, don't want it, scared, whatever let's address that because we're adults. And this is something you're gonna do a lot in your relationship. So let's address what those issues are. I also have an astrologer because I like to understand people on an astrological level, like who are
Mm.
you? What makes you tick? What's your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign? Like I like to know all of those things. Really, your Venus sign is how you show up in relationships. So many people don't know any of that. And it's for various reasons that we don't know, but it's important to me. And so I can tell my clients whether you believe in it or not, I need to know so that I can find somebody that's compatible with you in that way. So I do all of that plus dating coaching before you start meeting people. And that's and a photo shoot. And it's important for me to do all of those
Mm.
things.
Mhm.
Yes, because I need to understand who you are on so many levels because you bring all of that into the relationship. It's not just what people see, it's what you've experienced. It's past heartbreaks, it's how you were raised, it's how you think about life. It's all of that is who you are, and you bring that to the relationship, and it's going to come out at some point. So let's go ahead and uncover what it is. And a lot of times people haven't seen submission modeled, right? I know
Mhm.
submission is such a dirty word, but let me say it a different way. People haven't seen femininity modeled. They haven't
Yes.
seen it. If you grew up with a single mom, she hasn't had the ability and the privilege to show her femininity because she's been in hustle mode trying to make
Mhm.
sure you were provided for, your bills were paid, and the household was run. She had so much to do on her plate, so she couldn't really just show her soft side, right? So you didn't see it. Or And a lot of times we haven't seen modeled, I think for our generation, we have not seen it modeled where a woman makes more than the man, because usually we grew up in the opposite household where the father made more. So how does it look? What does it look like? How do I submit to somebody who makes less than me? All of those things are legitimate questions that women have. And
Mhm.
so what I coach them on is exactly how to do that. It's never been done before. We're living in a whole, this has never been done before. Wasn't
Mm.
done for our parents. So we have to model what that looks like. Money is not the thing that makes a man the head, right? Or makes him a man, or the thing that makes it is not. So when you get that out of the way, right? If you have a certain way that you want to live, live it. And then also show this man how you need him to add to your life. What do you need from him to contribute to your life? It doesn't have to be financial at
Mhm.
all. And so that's what I coach women on is it's staying in your feminine. Like I always tell, my friend, even my clients, I'm a boss babe all day running two businesses. And I still like to cater to my man and I love to cook for
Mm.
him. And I love to run
Mhm.
his backwater. And I love to do those things because it really makes me feel yeah, I tap into my feminine in that way. So
Yes, I can imagine that that's so empowering
it
for
is.
them to hear it from you because I think ultimately women want to do that, but sometimes they're afraid of like, well, what will my friends think? Or what are people going to think? And how do I do this? And so you kind of sharing that example with them, I think is very empowering.
Yes. And I think that's one of the things that makes me different is because I am them. I'm my clients. So I understand and they'll give me an example. I'm like, yeah, and I did that too. Oh yeah, and I have that too. Oh yeah, and I bought that too. So I'm able to relate to them on those levels. And at the same time, I also say, but you know what? What shifted in me? I decided I wanted something different. And because I wanted something different, I needed to change something in me so that I could attract that something different. I know you want something different. So here's how to do it too.
Wow, I'm just nodding. And if you're listening to this on audio, I'm just smiling and nodding because I these are messages that I try to kind of share with women that your feminine is so powerful and it's independent of money or not having money. It's independent of your career or not having your career. Like it's a part of you that you want to tap into because it is wildly attractive. And that is the thing that most men, and I know people get mad about all of the debates and the podcast bros and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we're attracted typically to masculine men and they're attracted to feminine women. And that's just what it is.
What it is how we're created, it's how we're
Mhm.
designed. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you any less than, in fact, I feel like it makes you more powerful because we have gifts. When you tap into your femininity, one of the biggest gifts that you have as a feminine woman is wisdom. We get wisdom. And as we age, we get more and more wisdom. And that wisdom can look like just a knowing. Just you just know this is the right thing, or you just know that's the wrong thing. Without any logic, you just know, don't do that. That's a wisdom that we get, a knowing that we get as a woman. And when you're tapped in, that's stronger, right? And so now you can guide your family and you can say, we don't need to go that way. We should go this way. And so there's a saying that says, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And
Yes.
how do we lead him? We lead him by having that wisdom. When he can trust you, now he trusts what you say. And when you say, babe, I got a real strong feeling, we don't need to go there. We don't need to do this. Now you can guide the head in that way. So it's such a powerful place. The queen is the most powerful position on the chessboard.
Yes.
It is she is protected, but she is running things and people don't even recognize that. So I don't see it as a weakness at all, but it is definitely a place of power.
So, who approaches you more? Like, do you just hear from the grapevine, or your clients are more so the women that are approaching you and saying, hey, find someone, or is it equal between men and women? Like, what does that look like?
Women pay me more. So most of my
Mhm.
clients are women, the majority. I do have male clients. And I have the men who approach me is a certain type of man who
Okay.
will approach me. It is a man, if I had to just sum it up in general, who is very successful but socially awkward. Is not an extrovert at all.
Mm,
So he doesn't know how to start. How do I meet women? What do I say? Where do I go? That's the man who's going to come to me because he's ready. He has all the means, but he doesn't know how to approach a woman. He doesn't have any game. That's the
mhm,
kind of man
mhm.
who comes to me.
Yeah, yeah. And so are women often overlooking those types of men?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those are the diamonds in the rough. And I
Mhm.
find those types of men for my clients. And I go to conferences, medical conferences, science
Mm.
conferences, IT conferences, engineering conferences. That's where those men are. They're very successful. They don't have no game, but you don't need them to have any game. You just need him to be loyal to you and love you, and that's it. You don't need all
Mhm,
that stuff.
mhm.
We think we need the razzle dazzle, but listen, you can buy him an outfit, clean him up, he's fine. You know.
So
So
people women, you have to get them to understand what are the real qualities that are gonna make them have a successful relationship.
I do because and it's from media, it's from music, it's from all these influences that we think we need this kind of dude that, but that kind of dude is that dude faithful. You've experienced this dude before, and he's not. He's running the streets. He knows how to dress, he knows how to speak, he knows how to woo women, and he's wooing them left and right. Is that what you want? Is that important to you? You know what I mean? And that's what
Mhm.
we have to get to. I wanted somebody who loved me and my child. That was like, just give me somebody who loves me and my child. That's what I
Mm.
asked for. And that's a pure intention. That's a pure ask. And when you find someone who's like, I can do that, and it don't matter if he doesn't look like Don one or whatever. I don't know
Mhm.
what people are looking for.
Yeah.
Because to me, what's most attractive is character. It's
Mm.
I know that you love me, your integrity is intact. I know that you would die for me. That's important to me. Because I'm gonna give you that back. It's reciprocity. And I don't have time for games, and I don't have time to be checking for where you at and who you with. I don't want all that. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
because I shifted something in me that allowed me to attract that.
So what is the age range that you work with typically? That made me think like, is it a certain does a woman have to go through a certain number of things in life to come to that realization about what's really important?
My clients are typically 30s to 50s,
Okay.
so I think
It's
it's
a
a
wide
big gap.
range.
I
Mhm.
think that's a good, and occasionally I will have someone who's, in their 60s who's looking, but rarely people under 30 can afford me. So,
Okay.
there's
Listen
that.
up, y'all, okay? It's an
So
investment.
it is an investment, but also I invite those people to come to my events because like my
Mhm.
events like $100 a pop. You can afford that.
Mm.
Now, if you can't afford that, definitely go on a
You don't
dating
need
app.
to be
Sorry.
yeah.
Dating apps are your friends, but I feel like my events are priced where the average person can afford it. My matchmaking starts off at 10,000, I have 10,000 and
Mm.
20,000. I know that's cost prohibitive for some people, but matchmaking is a luxury. It is definitely something that is a luxury. And also what you're paying for is I'm vetting people.
Yes, you
I'm
put a lot
running
into
background
it.
check. I'm
Uh-huh.
making sure that these people have what you need, that they're single. So those are
Mhm.
things that you're getting. And so these are vetted people. Even at my events, these are vetted people because
Mm.
they're always people that I know. It's like, or networks that I've tapped into, right? So yeah, good quality men and women. And that's what makes it so good because when you go to a club, you don't know who's there, whose husband you talking to, whose wife, you know what I mean? Whereas no, these people are all single. And they're all,
Mhm.
single,
Mhm.
single. And that's what makes it fun. Now you can let your guard down. You already know they're available and they're vetted. And now you can have fun with them.
I love that, and it sounds like you're also helping the clients to do a lot of self-reflection because you're getting them to look at their past and their expectations and, they have to check in with the therapist and the sex therapist and so many things, so they're getting something out of the process as well. I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's just fun. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm curious because one of the things that when, we were kind of chatting and I was thinking about what to ask you, what are some of the unrealistic expectations that women have?
We
when they're
have a
on this
lot.
dating scene.
We have a
Mhm.
lot. I love my sisters, but we definitely have a lot of unrealistic expectations. So a lot of times we lack the ability to see ourselves, right? And so it's all about this what this person not doing, what this person should do, what they should have, what they need to be. But we don't have the ability to see ourselves. And that man that you described, what type of woman does he want? What type of woman would he be attracted to? Are you that? Sometimes we lack the ability to see that,
Mhm.
right? That's huge. And that's a hard lesson when I have to tell somebody, you want all of these things, but you are not the type of person that that man would be attracted to. You're 350 pounds, sis. That's hard. I know that's hard to hear. I know it's hard to hear. But you're 350 pounds and you're wanting someone with a six pack who is 6 feet tall, who lives in a gym, and you ain't seen a gym in 10 years. Like, let's just keep it 100. Like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And sister to sister, I need to be able to tell you that because you have to level set what you're asking for. That's like asking somebody with a PhD to apply for a job that you're paying $5 an hour for.
McDonald's or something or
Make it
lower.
make sense. Make
Uh-huh.
it make sense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So what I have sometimes I have to give hard truth. Now that doesn't mean that you can't find somebody who is 350 pounds who is married. Yes, that does exist. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you want this man to have all of these qualifications and what do you bring it to the table other than your money? Because a man is
Mhm.
never gonna choose a woman just for her money. And you don't want a man to choose you just for your money. You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah,
None
yeah.
of us do. So that's a harsh reality that I often have to give because my clients are so successful and they do feel like because they're millionaires, they should get whatever they want. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we have unrealistic expectations around income. Like you think you're a millionaire and I'm supposed to match you with the millionaire. First of all,
How many
millionaires are
millionaires? Yeah.
let's start with that. I can't magic it. It doesn't exist.
Mhm.
If it doesn't exist, I can't make it happen. And when it does exist, and I've dated millionaires, they do exist. But okay, so when you have a millionaire, um, what is he gonna require from you? Sometimes some of them don't want women to be accomplished at all. I have a
Mhm.
millionaire client right now, actually, and I've had another. A lot of them don't necessarily want another accomplished woman. They want someone who can fold into their lives. So
Mhm.
if you are running like 5 or 6 different businesses and you're a multimillionaire, he's not interested. He wants somebody to follow a traditional woman who's going to fold into his life and do what he's doing and support him in that way.
Mhm.
He can choose to do that, right? That's what he wants. He's not going to necessarily be attracted to somebody at par with him in
Mhm.
that situation. Or sometimes you can have somebody who's a millionaire who's running around with various women because he can afford to fly you to Dubai, fly me to Italy, fly her to Japan, because he can. And he does.
Mhm. Do a
So now you gotta
multi-city
deal with
trip
that.
and meet each
Yes.
of them.
Now you gotta deal with that. So it's just
Uh-huh.
understanding like what's most important and prioritizing that for people. But
Yeah.
that's
You made me think one of my friends on her YouTube channel, she's on her weight loss journey, and she said she made a video, yes, I'm losing weight for a man. And she said it like that because she said just what you said, which is if I want a certain type of man, am I the woman that he would want? And yes, it's great. She said, I love losing weight for me and getting healthy for me, but there's a part of it is has to do with wanting to attract the kind of person that I want and like being the person that he would want. And she was like, I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash because everyone is like, you should only do it for yourself. And she's like, no, I'm doing it because this is I want a fit man, a healthy man, a man that values, physical activity, whatever it is, that looks good. So why shouldn't I have to be like that?
it's very true. And I lost 75 pounds. So whatever I say to
Mm.
somebody, it's coming from a place of this is what I did. So I know
Mm-hmm.
what works. When I lost 75 pounds, it allowed me to attract a whole different caliber of a man. Men that never saw me. Because when you're bigger, oftentimes you're invisible. They just walk past you, they don't speak, they don't pay you any attention. But now, like I gave out a gas at the pump last weekend. I'm at the pump. I was like, I need a man. Two of them ran up to help me. Like it makes a big difference. Okay.
Yes.
'Cause I know I can turn heads today. It makes a big difference. When I was 75 pounds heavier, I literally felt invisible. I would walk in and nobody
Mhm.
would even acknowledge me.
Offer to
I I know that women are feeling that way. I know they
Mm.
experience that because I experienced it. Mhm.
So I imagine you see a level of confidence. Well, you probably obviously experienced it yourself, but with the women you work with, once they can get over like, okay, it is what it is. I need to lose this weight. And then once they do it, I'm sure you see a level of confidence in them that they don't have before.
It's day and night, and it's so important to have that, right? Because when you think highly of yourself, now you're vibrating at a different level, and now you can meet somebody who also thinks that way about himself.
Mhm.
So it's all vibrational. Because when you are low vibrational and you don't think high about yourself, you're going to attract very low vibrational individuals, and you might attract some people who hurt you or who don't appreciate you, all those kinds of things, because it all lives down there in the low vibration mode, right? So
Yes.
once we think highly of yourself, you're eating better, you feel better, you know you look good, so you're smiling more, you're wearing
Mhm.
cute clothes, you fixing up yourself. All of that changes, and now you're attracting a whole different type of man. And it happened for me for sure.
Mm. And what women might not understand is you might attract fewer men, but the quality, because like when you're just for everybody, anybody is gonna holler at you, right? Like it doesn't matter. It could be the homeless person on the corner. They feel they have a chance. But when you're at a higher level, it's more selective, but it's like the quantity might be lower, but the quality is much higher.
And that's what we want. We want good quality.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Wow.
the thing, you just want one. All
Uh-huh.
you want is one
You
person.
don't need hundreds and hundreds,
You
huh?
really don't. You need one person who says,
Mhm.
no, this is it. And he's going to know it when he meets you. He's going to know this is a prize when he meets you, and he's going to lock you down.
Mhm. Okay. I know you focus on Black professionals. Um, do you do interracial matching, or people
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
different cultural backgrounds, even though they might be the same quote
Yeah.
race? Uh-huh.
Absolutely. So my clients are typically black, but they might request other races and I go get
Mhm.
them. Absolutely.
Okay. You were like, whatever you request. So, what have you seen with that? Like, are there any nuances in terms of what people want if it's interracial? What if it's, yeah, like what have you noticed with that?
So and me, like if you came to me, as a black woman comes to me and she's like, "Look, Shay, I'm open. I don't care about his race." I'm gonna more than likely introduce her to black men mostly, but
Mhm.
I'm also going to, unless she says I specifically want a white man, then I'm just gonna give her a white man. But if she says I'm open, so I have a client, I've introduced her. Let's say she had 10 men I needed to introduce her to. So then, probably out of the 10, 6 are black and the other 4 are she's had Asian, she's had white, she's had Indian, because I'm giving her a mix. Because really and truly, it's not the shell that's important, it's really the
Mhm.
inside. So
Mhm.
this shell is irrelevant. Because what you're looking for are qualities like caring, like consideration, integrity, honesty. That's what you're looking for. It's those qualities. And so when I send you out with all these people, you really start to realize that's really what's important.
So I'm imagining you're helping women to switch up their checklists because from what I heard earlier, some might come in with these like rigid checklists that are a bit too superficial, and you
Yeah.
help them to really figure out a better checklist.
Yes, and I think the checklist really should be about your needs. So what I help women do is refine needs versus wants. Because we
Mhm.
have these wants, like, girl, you need to eat chocolate, you need to have a six pack. Is that a need? Is it really?
Uh-huh.
No. Let's talk about what you need. Well, I'm a parent, so I need him to like children. That's a need, sis, all day. You got a kid, he needs to love children. If he don't love children, he can't do it, right? So that's a need. He needs to be family oriented if you are. Like that's a need. So when you understand what you need, now you're asking about those needs. And nobody has a problem with you saying, when's the last time you had dinner with your family? When how often do you call your mom? Do you have family dinners? Do you invite them over? Like, when's the last time you did that? If you're family oriented, those are the kinds of questions you need to be asking, because what you're trying to do is evaluate if y'all can be compatible. Can you do life together? If you know you have family dinner with your family every Sunday and this person says, I haven't talked to my mom in 6 months, y'all probably not, that's probably not
Mhm.
gonna be your guy.
Uh-huh.
Your guy calls his mama at least twice a week, right? And he's wanting to see her at least once a month. That's the kind of guy you want to have if this is important to you. So I help people understand the difference between needs versus wants, because
Mhm.
that's what we mix up all the time. And red flags and deal breakers. We think everything is a red flag these days, and we think everything is a deal breaker. People don't understand the difference between a deal breaker and a red flag. Like, women really think that it's a deal breaker or a red flag
Mm.
because he has on brown shoes with a black belt. And it's not. That's an easy, easy fix. You get in a relationship with him and you just say, look, babe, I bought you a black belt to go with your black shoes. I got you a brown belt to go with your brown shoes. Wear these together. Easy fix. That is not a deal breaker. A deal breaker is if you are on a date with a man and he is saying something ugly to his child's mother, cursing her out, cursing out his mom, never on time, always makes excuses, never where he's supposed to be. Those are deal breakers. Those are red flags. But how a person dresses is not a deal breaker.
Mm.
It might be something that you don't like, but it's something that's easily fixed. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I don't think we understand the difference between a red flag, a yellow flag, a green
Uh-huh.
flag.
Uh-huh. What are some green flags that you think women might overlook, like indications that this is a healthy person, this could go somewhere? What are things that they should look out for that they don't?
Yes, one of the biggest green flags I noticed with my man was when I have something that really bothers me. um, so in my previous relationship, if something really bothered me, I would have to say, can we talk? And then I would be on pins and needles because he's about to go left, and he go from 0 to 100 when I bring up any issue.
Uh-huh.
With my boyfriend, I can literally say, babe, something really bothers me. Can we talk? And he's like, absolutely. And he doesn't blow up, and he doesn't get mad, and he listens and immediately implements the thing that I told him I have a
Mm.
problem with. So,
Mhm.
for example, if I say, I don't like when you don't text me good morning, as soon as I said, it bothers me that you don't text me good morning because you have to get up, brush your teeth, wash your face, you're getting on calls, you're doing all these things. You don't have 10 seconds to say good morning. That bothers me. Once I told him that, once I gave him that feedback, he immediately incorporated. And now I get good morning. I get good
Mm.
messages all the time. How are you doing, babe? How's your day going? Because that's important to me. A green flag is you should be able to give somebody feedback without them going off, without
Berserk
them going
and
like,
offended.
yes.
Uh-huh.
You should be able to give somebody feedback without it turning into an altercation or an argument. That's a green
Mhm.
flag. It's
Mhm.
a red flag if you have to be on pins and needles and every time you say something, it's an argument. That's somebody who can't communicate well. And if you can't communicate, you can't have a good relationship.
Mm. Mhm.
Relationship is built around communication. He's gonna have to express how he feels. I'm gonna have to express how I feel without us going back and forth, into an argument.
Yeah. So communication is a red flag potentially or a green flag. And it's all about what you're perceiving. And what do you think, like, what do you advise the women as you're coaching them through dating and so forth around how they need to communicate? What do
A
you
lot of
want them to
times
know?
with
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of women don't know how to communicate. We're supposed to be the best communicators, but a lot of us don't. We do not like any type of feedback, any type of negative anything. Women don't want you to tell them anything um anything wrong, they're gonna be offended. And that's
Mhm.
not okay. I have to be able to tell you something that is not, hey, I didn't like it when. It hurts my feelings when. I have to be able to say that to you without you going off. And a lot of times women, they don't like feedback, they don't like correction, and they don't like to
Mhm.
be held accountable. And those are things that you have to have in order to have a healthy relationship, right?
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
so if somebody says, you know, you every time you order these Oreos, you eat them a bag at a time. It might maybe you should try eating 2 or 3 and put the rest up. Now you calling me fat. Oh, now I have to eat more right now. And
Uh-huh.
now if I love you, I should be able to tell you that. You should just try eating 2 or 3
Mhm.
versus eating the
Mhm.
whole bag without you going left, right? And the fact that someone can't is a problem. it's an indication that you don't receive feedback well. So we have to be able to be in relationship without being a ticking time bomb,
Mhm.
without being already set, ready to pop off at any moment, ready to go off at any moment. Because a relationship should be a place of peace.
Yes.
You have to be the person that he calls when things are going wrong for him. He finds peace with you. And he has to be the person that you call, like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. I got all this going on. And he can chart your path forward too and calm you down. That's what you have to be for each other. And it has to be, reciprocal. It has to be
Mhm.
something that you both can give each other. So I think that comes from doing the work, the work that we have to do. And we kind of discovered that in therapy, in the coaching that I do, I discover if a person can receive feedback well and if they can respond without going off, right?
Mhm.
Because if
Mhm.
they're bumping heads with me, they're gonna bump heads.
That's a red flag right there, or a
It's a
potential
red
red
flag.
flag. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Whenever
Yeah.
I have a client who's trying to tell me how to run my business or who's trying to tell me what I need to do, I'm like, hold up, sis. Now you can manage your business over there, but you can't tell me how to run my business over
Uh-huh.
here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, how are you going to be in a relationship? How is that going to look?
Yeah, yeah. And I think so much of that comes from unacknowledged and unmet needs of when we were hurt in childhood or some areas in our life. And then when we get in a relationship, we're overly defensive. We don't want to be vulnerable. And getting feedback is puts you in a place of vulnerability. But you're so right. You're not going to get anywhere in a relationship. I've been married for almost 15 years, and it's like if I can't be told that my stuff stinks too and that I have
Right.
things that I need to work on, then what is the point? Like that's the one person that needs to be able to tell me about myself among the people.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And you have to be a trust, like you trust your husband. So you trust that when he tells you something, it's not to hurt your feelings, it's to make you
Yeah.
better. And he has to trust you in that same way. You're not going to tell him something to break him down and make
Mhm.
him feel small. You're only going to tell him because you want him to be better because he's a reflection of you, right? So that's what it has to be. And if you can't create that, then you can't go anywhere in the relationship.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are some ways that you notice that women need to learn to be more feminine as they're going through this process? Either, the matchmaking, the dating, in the relationship. What are some of the things that you observe they need?
It's one of those things that as women, we are a vulnerable gender, right?
Mhm.
So when you first meet somebody, it's okay to have your guard up because from a safety perspective, you need to. You need to be able to see what's going on. You don't want to have your eyes closed and somebody slip you a Mickey and next thing you know, you're knocked out. So you got to be kind of on guard initially, right? And so I get that. And so I would never tell somebody, oh, just go, be carefree, because you need that. You need to have that kind of what's going on, making sure you're not going to try to do something wrong. Now, once you get to the point where you trust this person, this is somebody that okay, I can let you in, I can let my guard down. Um, then being feminine is as women, we're the receivers, right?
Mhm.
And so it's not always doing the output, it's the one getting the input. So it's allowing him to make suggestions and don't shoot it down every time. Oh, I don't
Like,
eat
oh,
that.
I
I don't
hate
see
that
that.
rest. I hate Cheesecake Factory or
Yes.
whatever the
Yes.
debate is.
Go. Just go. He wants to go. Like my boyfriend wanted to go, what are those little bikes? I hate these things, but he
Mm.
wanted to go
Where
do
you
these
ride
little
them
bikes.
together?
The
Like,
scooters, yeah, he wanted to do the
mhm.
scooters all around town
Mhm.
in Atlanta, mind you, on the belt line. I didn't want to go, but I did. I got dressed and I said, okay, this is what you like to do. Let's do it. Just do it. Just go and enjoy it. Now, after I did it, I was like, babe, I know that's something you want to do. Next time, I'll just watch you do it. But I at least participated because I knew that was something that was important to him. And then, can I make a suggestion for our next date? That's all you have to do.
Mhm.
Go and then let me make a suggestion for our next date. I want us to do a cooking class together. That's something that I enjoy, and I
Mhm.
want us to do it together. So I think it's about learning how to play, go back and forth, but being a receiver is it's not always your way. It's not always what you want and how you want it. And
Okay.
also doing some things that he wants to do
Mhm.
and doing things that he enjoys as well. And I think sometimes we don't. And yes, you're the princess, you're the prize, all of those things. but it takes two, right? And you
Mhm,
you gotta
mhm,
understand that if he doesn't feel acknowledged or you're not doing things that he likes, what is he getting out of it? What's in it for him?
mhm, mhm. I'm just giggling because there's certain key terms that are just passed around, a lot of it on social media that we take to heart, but they don't push us to self-reflect. So the whole "you're the prize, you're the queen," and it's like, okay, yes, you are, but you still have to do your self-work. You still have to reflect. You still have to learn how to compromise, how to know the difference between when you're in boss mode and when you're in your at home in your relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that is so important. It's so funny, because so I'm a Muslim, and we matchmaking, informal matchmaking is almost like something that just happens a lot. I was just in a group where a member of the community was like, okay, my daughter is ready for marriage. We're seeking candidates for a husband. And she showed her picture and things about her, and, just what she likes to do, a little video of her. And it's a way of matchmaking. And it's almost a way of the family saying, like, we're going to be the ones to vet this. And the mom put some like things that would automatically, like, if you're whatever, if you I forgot what she put, but there were some things that would disqualify a man. She's like, serious inquiries only, and if X, Y, and Z, you won't be considered. And it's almost like that's matchmaking, or she's keeping
It
in mind,
absolutely
like,
is.
what other kids in the community have been raised that are ready to get married now. You talk to their parents, you get to know people. So I'm curious, are most of your clients specifically looking for marriage, or is it a serious relationship, or is it dating? Like, is it categories that people kind of have to have in mind?
Well, you don't come to a matchmaker for a hookup. A matchmaker, you
Mm.
don't come to a matchmaker because you're horny and you want to hook up. That's not where you come
You're
to.
not going to pay that money and take the time and
Who's
introspection.
gonna do that? Who's gonna drop
Uh-huh.
$20,000 for a hookup? No, people usually come because they want a serious relationship. Now, I have had people who are divorced and they don't
Mhm.
want to be married again,
Okay.
but they do want a companion. And so they'll say, hey, I don't want to be married again, or I lost my husband and I don't want to be married again, but I am ready for a companion. I get those often.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Wow, one of the things that just comes across is, like, how non-judgmental you are. And so you're able to just get a sense of what people want, where they are, what the people they want. And so you can kind of make a very, like, objective suggestion to them that isn't judging them, but is just saying, okay, this is where things are. This is what you might want to do if you want this kind of person. Don't be mad if this kind of man doesn't want an entrepreneur like this. Like, you're just I love that non judgmental, because I think I'm sure it allows all of your clients and the potential matches to really be open to you.
Thank you. Yes, I pride myself on that because, like, for
Mhm.
example, one of my clients is a MAGA Republican, right?
Hmm.
He's a millionaire, very successful, loves Donald Trump. And I don't, so
Yeah.
that's like my personal, but I never told him that. I mean, if he
Hmm.
follows me on social media, he'll see my
He
posts,
might
but
know.
I've never,
Uh-huh.
because this is not about me. You're not
Yeah.
trying to date me. Now, if you were trying to date me, this would not work. But
Uh-huh.
because he's not trying to date me, I have to find his woman. I have to find his wife for him. So that doesn't even matter to me that that's what you're into because I believe there's a lid for every pot and there's a lid for him, right? So I just go
Mhm.
find the lid for him, who's
Mhm.
also conservative. And I'm like, a black woman who's a MAGA? And he was like, I was like, that's gonna be weird. He's like, even if she don't have to be political at all. She was like, she
Okay.
didn't have to be,
He just has to
Muslim.
accept his
Just accept that
viewpoint.
that's what yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe I can find that. But me trying to find a MAGA Republican, a black woman, that's gonna be hard. So that's what I was
Uh-huh.
saying to y'all. And and yeah, and it doesn't matter, So from
Mhm.
my perspective, these are not people for me. So it doesn't matter to me whatever you are, whatever you're into, whatever you're looking for, doesn't matter. My job
Mhm.
is to find that person for you and give you tips along the way
Uh-huh.
on how
Uh-huh.
to accomplish that.
I love it. I think if there's anyone that's listening or watching that didn't understand all that goes into matchmaking, and maybe you're considering it for yourself, what I heard you say is some people are too busy or they're too shy or their network. I think that's one of the biggest things, the proximity. And you have proximity to so many more people than just one individual woman or man. So you can expose them to the right person within your network. And so
Absolutely.
anybody listening, like if you're having a hard time finding love, what I'm hearing is there's no shame in it
No.
in looking for help. There's no you're going to be exposed to a network and you're going to learn about yourself along the way in a way
Yeah.
that's only going to enhance the potential relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And also, I also start from a belief that when we were created,
Mm,
and this is no matter what you believe, when you were created, your counterpart was also created.
mm,
If I start from that, that allows me to be open to hearing when I hear from spirit or who that is or who I should introduce you
mhm,
to. It allows me, if I believe that everybody was born with a counterpart as well, there's a counterpart for you. There's a lid for every pot. If I truly believe that, now we can go and discover who that might be.
mm. Well, what do you want to say? Maybe final thought is like for women who have lost hope. I see this all the time, even in the group that you were recommended to me in. I see women just feeling hopeless and saying the dating pool is pissed and it's horrible and I'm giving up on love and relationships. And I mean, of course, these sentiments aren't new. People have said this before, but I feel like it's really, really prevalent. So what do you say to a woman who really desires love in a relationship, but she's losing hope? Like, what do you tell her?
Um, I've been there too. I know what it feels like, even as a matchmaker. I know what it feels like to have a desire to have somebody, to want somebody in your life. And he's waiting for you. You have to make a shift, in order to receive him. You have to get on the vibration that he's on. And I remember like just crying out. Like, just to myself, just saying, like, "God, I'm ready. I want the love of my life. I'm ready for him to come." And you know what I started doing? I started recording things throughout my day that
Mm.
for my husband. Like, and I would say, "Okay, here I'm pumping gas. I don't like pumping gas, but here when you come into my life, this gonna be your job. Or here I am rolling down a trash can. I don't want to do this anymore. When you come into my life, this is gonna be your job." And I started like anything that I was doing, little mundane activities that I was doing throughout the day that I'm like, I'm letting this go. You can take on this role. And it was all in me preparing myself for that space. She's 5 now, but at times she was like 3, my
Mm,
daughter. And I was like, you gotta go sleep in your own bed because I gotta make room for my man. When he comes, he
yes.
gonna be right here. So you cannot be sleeping here. So I did all these things to prepare for him to come and make room for him. Like I think that's the other thing we have to do. Like, where does he fit in your life?
Mm,
How is he gonna fit? What areas do you need him? And so me recording those videos was showing here are some areas that I need you to fit in into my life. Um, and when you meet that person, you gotta know because he gonna just fit in. He's just gonna
mm,
fit into those places that you've already said you needed him to do. That's where he's gonna be. And he's gonna be cool with it. He's gonna love it there. That's his home. That's where he
mhm,
belongs, right?
mhm,
And I would just say when you get to that point where you're like, I'm ready. I don't wanna do this alone. I know I can. I'm good at it, but I don't wanna do it. I know that I was meant to do this with a partner. When you get to that point of surrender, I think that's where the universe can come in and give you what you've been asking for and give you the desires
mm.
of your heart. That's what I believe. I know that's what happened
Yes.
for me. They created a shift. Like here are the spaces I need you to come, and then it came. So
Mm, yeah.
I believe that we can attract that for ourselves.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. That's so beautiful. I love that. And surrender,
Mhm.
I know we said earlier, submission is become a dirty word. Submission and surrender are so powerful in all areas of your life, whether it's in your relationship, but just in surrendering that there are things that you have to be patient for, that you can't rush the process, and you have to trust that the best is waiting for you. So I really, really
Absolutely.
love that. Yes. So Shay, how can people reach you? Like, give us your socials and how people
Yes.
can connect with you.
Most people connect with me on Instagram at
Okay.
Shay Primus Matchmaker. You can also find me on upper echelon matchmaking.com.
Okay.
You can shoot me an email at info at upper echelon matchmaking.com. But
Okay.
yes, I'm
I'll put
here.
all of that in the show notes too.
Thank you so much. And,
Okay.
I've enjoyed talking to you also about this. I love matchmaking. I love helping people find love. And if there's anything I can ever do, please let me know.
Okay, so reach out to Shay if you can't, if you're not quite ready to invest, and I think it's a worthwhile investment. But if you're not quite there, you can go to one of her events. Look, it's not a bad thing to fly down to your events are in Atlanta.
Yeah, and
Okay.
people do fly in. This
Yes.
last weekend, I had someone from Alabama, someone from Pennsylvania, and someone from New York, and they flew in. So it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I will be referring some people to your events. So, if that's the first step you need to take, what I'm getting from this is you have to be open, you have to put yourself out there. And those are such feminine traits because when you're a confident woman and when you think highly of yourself, you're okay with opening up and putting yourself out there and receiving. So, thank you so much, Shay. And don't forget, everybody, my book is available, The Boundaries to Bliss Blueprint for women who are finally ready to win that love. And like you said, those boundaries and just having parameters for yourself are so important. So you can see the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you on the next episode of The Secret Formula of Femininity. I'm Dr. Nicole.